guys, how's it going? Ivano here, and today we're going to be going over the patch notes. Yes, that's right, patch 7.2.1 has just dropped, and with it the next season of PvP. So we're going to go through all the patch notes, and I will highlight what is important for the PvP players. You might want to stick around until the end, because the most important change is actually not in the patch notes. So stay until the end of the video if you want to find out what it is. Okay, starting with the highlights, PvP Season 2 is dropping. Very nice. We're going to go into that a little bit later. Galactic Seasons 4. This is more for the PvEers, but I guess there's a new stronghold coming out with it, so that could be nice. Credit economy, again, more on that later. Actually, we're going to be starting talking about the 64-bit game client. Now, this is a big change. It was already on PTS. I tested it. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I'm some sort of developer, but basically what it means is that, you know, unless you are still playing on a 32-bit toaster from 2002, that could be a problem. But if you bought your rig at any time in the last 10 years, should be fine. And the hope would be, of course, better performance. Will it do that? Well, we're going to give it a test. I have tried it on PTS. I did not see a big difference there. So let's see what happens. We're going to test this out and see that hopefully the performance will be better. Next important patch notes. There's a bunch of bug fixes here. An interesting thing for PvP could be this one. Enemies in combat are now correctly displayed on the overlay map. So this could be interesting for PvP, because if this actually works in war zones, then you will see where your enemies are right now and where they are moving. So we're going to test this out today. But yeah, could be an interesting change and something to keep in mind for PvP. Items and economy. So they're trying to remove some credits from the game. Quick travel now will cost something. Obviously, for most players that have been playing the game for a while, quick travel cost of 5,000 credits. It's not that bad. I think this will mostly affect new players. But yeah, something to keep in mind. Quick travel now costs something. Same for the priority transport terminal. So if you want to do dailies, you're still gearing, expect to pay some credits for it. Strongholds as well. If you're leaving the stronghold and you're traveling through another planet, then that might cost you. The change that actually worries me a little bit are the next two. So repair cost formulas have been adjusted across the entirety of the game so that repair costs increased in relation to item level. Like if you look at the second patch note, durability of equipment should now be lost at a lower rate of death, but slightly higher rate in normal gameplay. This actually affects PvP. So if you're losing a lot of durability while just playing war zones, and this costs a ridiculous amount of money, that could be a shit show. But yeah, again, we don't really know. They're not telling us any values, so we're going to have to try and see and watch our repair costs. Next up, a small change. If you want to quickly boost an alt to level 80 with a Master's Datacron, which you can buy, I think, on the cartel market, this will now boost you to level 80 directly. So can be a nice way of getting into PvP quicker if you want to spend the money. It will make gearing even quicker, because if you have watched my last video where I explain how you can get full PvP gear in less than 1 day, kind of the starting point for that was to start farming the conquest gear in the beginning. And now this comes automatically with this level 80 boost. So yeah, I think if you want to try out this game, you can get to from starting game, downloading the game, to being ready for PvP in, maybe, let's say 3 hours now, which is kind of nice. Makes it good for casual players or for new players that want to try out the game. And along the same lines, there's another note here. Thyrsian Gear upgrade no longer drops duplicate 332. So this is nice if you have completed the second step of the gearing process and now you want to deck out your relic slots. You will no longer drop duplicates. So that's kind of nice. Makes gearing again a little bit easier and faster. Moving on, none of this is really relevant for PvP as far as I could see. Combat styles. So on the combat styles, right, is always the buffs and nerfs, but this time actually there are none. They're fixing a couple of visual effects, fixing this effect that the thermal detonator was still lingering if you detonated it with power detonator, for example. So yeah, some visual fixes, but I guess the most important news for PvP is what we don't see here, which is buffs or nerfs. So class tier list pretty much stays in place. Strongest classes will be still the dot classes, and we can expect the meta for Season 2 to be pretty similar to what we had in Season 1. Unfortunately, also that means they fixed only visual issues and bugs such as the permanent death brand renewing itself even after you die has not been fixed. And also like the various PT energy load bugs still not fixed. So yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. Flashpoints, we don't care. Missions and NPC, we don't care. Arenas and war zones. This is the big one, obviously, and I've talked about this in a previous video, which I'm going to link in the description if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, changes to matchmaking to make it more likely that premates will play other premates. Especially now that you can queue as an 8-man premate, this is very important. And I'm eager to test this out to see whether, if we're going to queue as a premate, we would expect that the queues will be way longer, but then hopefully at least we're going to go against the other premates in queue, which should hopefully lead to better matches for us and also to better matches for the solo players, who of course don't want to get farmed by premates all evening long. So potentially a good change, but it remains to be seen if this is actually working or if this will just mean 30-minute queues and no more pops at all. Then they fixed this bug that your PvP icon wasn't glowing unless you're the group leader if you queued in a group. So that's nice, a little good bug fix. Don't care about this one, don't care about that one. This one, super nice for all premate players. The class buffs no longer disappearing. So this is great, this is amazing, I love this very much. If you want to play with the premate and two of you have the same origin stories, so 2 Civ warriors, for example, and you go into a war zone, then previously you would miss the Civ warrior buff. Now you will have it. So that's a nice bug fix. Thanks, BioWare, finally. The Alderaan change, I mean, yeah, makes it a little bit easier to get medals and get points. If you care about that, that's nice. For me, it's not really a big change. So we're moving on. PvP seasons. So the new PvP season is launching, and BioWare has now said that it will run for 12 weeks, and then the off-season will last for 4 weeks afterwards, meaning that PvP Season 2 will start today, March 28th, and run until the end of June. So what else is there about PvP seasons? Actually, there's this blog post here. We can see the rewards that you can earn. Let me know what you think. I think they look kind of cool. Definitely better than the trash can outfits from last season. So it's kind of samurai themed, space samurai style, which I guess is cool. They're talking a little bit about the same Alderaan changes, which they will roll to other war zones later. You still get more points for a win than for a loss. That's nice. And yeah, here you can see how the sets look in game. This one with the black and gold and the red accents, I think it's cool. I'm definitely going to farm this one. So it doesn't look bad in my opinion. Yeah, and then there are some trophies you can put in your stronghold. Get these katana style swords, pretty cool. I think there's also a blue variety. I prefer the first one personally, but yeah, some more flags which you can farm. And that will be Season 2. A lot of people have been complaining that the achievements, Arena Advocator and War and Warrior, were too hard to get. So now they're reducing this is actually the number of weeklies that you need to complete in order to get these achievements. And they're now 12. So you need to complete each of the weeklies 12 times to get the achievement. And I think that's nice. For me personally, I didn't play a lot of Arena, so I didn't get the Arena title last season. But this should make it a little bit easier for the casual players to finish the season and get the achievements, so I'm all for it. Finally, a change that I like to see a lot, PvP challenges are now working correctly. This is actually a bug fix. PvP challenges, of course, were a feature for a long time, and then in the PvP revamp 7.2 they broke it, meaning it didn't work at all. You could challenge another group, you would get the pop, and then if you click accept, the pop would simply disappear and you would not get to enter the match. So challenges were completely broken. Now hopefully they're fixed. We're going to try it out. And if that works, of course, that's great, because it means you can arrange premate versus premate 8v8 matches if you don't want to wait for the 20 minutes queue. So I am very hopeful this is a good change in my opinion. Finally, for those of you that have played on the PTS, you will receive your Opal Vulptilla as soon as you log in. Looks kind of like a Pokemon. Okay, last but not least, what is the secret most important change in 7.2.1 that was not in the patch notes? On 9 February, Jackie posted, I think in the PTS forum, that they are looking to make changes to the logouts that you receive after leaving or being disconnected from a war zone. A lot of people have complained about that. If you get disconnected or you're leaving a match because you're just getting farmed by a premate, then you're receiving a 20-minute ban. Then you will receive a 1-hour ban. And then at some point a 6-hour ban, which is just ridiculous, during which time it means, of course, you cannot queue for PvP. And now they're changing this. They're changing it to 5 minutes, which I think is acceptable, right? If you're in a really bad game or you're disconnecting, you wait 5 minutes and then you can play again. 5 minutes, in my opinion, is fine. And 15 minutes, I mean, it's still less than 20 minutes, I guess, what they had earlier for leaving one match. I still think they should work on making it possible to detect whether someone actively clicks the leave button or whether someone gets disconnected. And obviously, there should be no punishment at all for a disconnect. It's usually not your fault, unless you're pulling the plug or pulling the Wi-Fi cable. But again, this, in my opinion, is a good change because it means if you don't like a map, if you have a game that's absolutely unwinnable or you're being held hostage by a toxic premate, then you can simply leave the match, wait 5 minutes, calm down a little bit, go have a coffee, have a beer, and then play again after 5 minutes. So this, in my opinion, is the biggest change. It's not in the patch notes, so we're going to have to test this out. If you want to see us testing out, we will be streaming tonight. So if you're watching this video, you will probably have the chance to catch us live on stream. If not, still let me know what you think about the patch notes in the comments below. Hopefully this video helped you a little bit, and if you enjoyed it, then please remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.